Hi, everyone. My name is Francesca Falzerano. I'm a daughter of young-onset dementia caregiving researcher, and assistant professor of gerontology at the University of Southern California. And I am so thankful to be here with Frankie and for this edition of NextGen Wisdom. So, NextGen Wisdom is an exchange between the sons, daughters, and children of a parent with young onset dementia, alongside passionate allies. We believe that by sharing our stories, it empowers others to share theirs, ultimately building a more compassionate, empathetic, and younger onset dementia informed society. So, Frankie, thank you for being here. It's always such a pleasure to get in a room with you. But I want to start off by letting the people know who you are. Tell us, your name, age, location, and how you are connected to Lorenzo's house.
For sure. Well, thank you for having me. Again, the feeling is mutual. Any space that we can chat about this is such a bright space. My name is Frankie Oso. I'm 25 years old. Born and raised in Yonkers, New York, currently living in the Bronx.
Which is
Uh,
also where I'm from.
yes, yes. And I'm currently a researcher and doctoral student at Fordham University. And a lot of my research interests completely align with that of Lorenzo's house. I'm really interested in understanding caregiving youth, specifically the developmental outcomes and trajectories that could occur taking on such a wide range of responsibilities. So I've been consistently inspired by Francesca's work ever since that we met. And she's definitely been a light in my work and in my professional academic career. And she knows me, she knows my heart and my journey. So when she introduced me to Lorenzo's house, I think it was back in like 2024, I was super interested. I didn't know that a space could exist like this. And I remember, I think my first event I attended was the We Bring Light event, and I remember getting off that Zoom call like tears in my eyes. It was like I was like, oh my gosh, I found my people. The people who I have been researching and studying and reporting on in my work, like bringing faces to them. Um, at that point, I knew I was like, whatever way I can be involved, I need to be connected with them. And it's been history ever since.
Oh my God. Well, thank you for that overview. And I can't think of better alignment between what you're doing professionally and the work here at Lorenzo's house. And it was like serendipitous when
Yes.
you guys found each other, and it's amazing. And to that end, you've been getting increasingly involved in, the movement that we have going on here. Why did you say yes to becoming a next gen ally?
Yeah, I mean, saying yes wasn't just like a decision, it was almost like a commitment to these young people. I uh, feel very close to these experiences that have been tremendously highlighted by Lorenzo's house, specifically Next Gen. And though I don't have a direct tie to younger onset dementia, the experiences are very close to my heart. And so, like I said, like doing all this work and all this research, reading about this group, this seemingly to many folks, this invisible population, if you will, um, seeing them come together was just the fuel that I was like seeking. And so, I mean, yeah, saying yes to being an ally was just almost like just this affirmation of yes, I want to be in these spaces. I want to share the light in whatever way I can. And yeah, it's a commitment that I hope to uphold for as long as I can.
That was so eloquent and beautifully put. And I agree. There is just like a visceral momentum when we're
Yeah.
all in the room together. That's so, so special. Um, so how would you personally describe Next Gen to either a friend or a family member or
Yeah.
neighbor?
NextGen is really like a first of its kind. I think what's really cool is the global outreach that we have. So, in my work, and obviously, Francesca, you could attest to this, um, caregiving is such a integral part all across the world. And getting those experiences from outside the confines of our country and just opening up our borders and opening up our perspectives, both for the families, friends, and neighbors affected by younger onset dementia, but also the allies. It's really a first of its kind. We're dismantling this idea that dementia is this, older adult disease and that its reach is limited, where we know that that's not the case. And so I really like how next gen, I mean, we've taken the term and the concept of dementia justice and just made it our own. Like, if you look up dementia justice on Google, we come up,
I
which
did
I
not
think
know that.
which is so cool.
I did
But
not know that.
yeah, yeah. And so I think in again, if I were talking to somebody about this, I would just be yapping on and on because of how excited I am. But I think it really is just a commitment to highlighting the experiences of everyone affected by younger onset dementia, not just the person, but also their family, the ones so closely tied to the experience, and recognizing that big changes in our healthcare system, in our legal system, and our social services need to be taken, and understanding what we need to do to make those changes happen.
Again, mic drop, just so beautifully put. And it's so powerful. I mean, your whole point was amazing, but the dementia justice piece, like we are creating this, we are forging this movement, we are kind of, we hold the power now. And I think like that's something so special that Lorenzo's house has been able to facilitate, giving us kind of giving us our power back, I think
Yeah,
is the biggest thing. And to that end, you touched upon this, like allies being so integral to the movement, but really this being a first of its kind
yeah.
thing. Can you talk a little bit more about why allies are so critical? And in what ways do they help kind of foster and help expand this movement to the next
Mhm.
level?
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna be completely honest. As much work that I've uh, had the privilege to be a part of in this space, I wasn't too familiar with dementia justice, and I'm not ashamed to admit that.
Me neither.
But I could also imagine that it really isn't a concept that many people are familiar with. And with any form of advocacy, it doesn't do us really justice if our good that we want to achieve is kind of just housed in the spaces that we're currently taking up. And the truth is that there are tons of spaces that, unfortunately, those impacted by younger onset dementia aren't in right now. And I think that's where allies come in, it's to be an ally, you have to have that passion, that like drive in your heart, that fire to realize like this is insane. This is wild to think that these are experiences that are kind of just being shoved under the rug. And with allies' help, they could help us create pathways to those spaces, um, those like spaces of innovation and change that families and those affected by younger onset dementia could infiltrate and finally have their voice heard. And I think that's a really like important and unique aspect to next gen that um, I haven't seen many groups or organizations in the past really highlight, and I'm really glad that we're doing the good work with that.
And like I feel like we can talk on this
Yeah.
podcast for the next 3 hours about the need for people to talk to each other. But I think one, you're such a perfect ally because you're an
Oh,
exact example of what you just said, that, the work that's being done is staying in its siloed space and it's not finding its way in these other sectors. It's so important. And you're an example of bringing this research to academia, which, and your family caregiving research, nobody was paying attention to the young people until very, very recently.
Sure.
Um, but yeah, I think that's just amazing. And it's just power in numbers. And like to change the world, we all have to band together all of our various areas of expertise to
Completely agree.
really force change. And to that end, can you, if you feel comfortable, share a little bit about why supporting young carers is so close to your heart and why NextGen hits home personally and
Yeah. Yeah, so, like I said, I haven't been directly impacted by younger onset dementia, but caregiving experience has been very close to me and very much an integral part of my identity. So, I started to provide pretty full hands-on care for my grandfather with Parkinson's, starting at 11 years old. And it was one of those responsibilities that I took a lot of pride in, but I never saw as caregiving, right? I just kind of saw this as something that I'm supposed to do. I'm a
caring for
grandchild.
your no.
Exactly. And it was one of those things where it just felt like a rite of passage, right? Um, and his condition progressed, got a little bit more severe, a lot more hands needed to be had in his caregiving. Ultimately, he um, progressed to Parkinson's related dementia, which was very hard on our family, of course. Um, but after his passing, my caregiving really didn't end because the caregiving I had been doing for my grandfather ultimately transitioned to the caregiving I was and am doing for my mother. My mother has MS and is currently experiencing mild cognitive decline. And so, my caregiver, I've been a caregiver for more than half of my life at this point, and um, so much of my identity comes from caregiving.
Mhm.
Um, so much of who I am, and again, I'm gonna give you your flowers, Francesca. It wasn't until you came as a guest lecturer to one of my classes in senior year of college to share your research that I said, "Huh, wait, am I a caregiver? Like, was I doing that? Like, do I fall in that bubble?" Um, and you like validated an experience that like I just took as fact and never
Mhm.
thought really critically about. And that opened a huge avenue of research, of advocacy, of empowerment that like I had not uncovered. And so I really feel connected to all of the young people who I get to see at our Next Gen meetings, at our Lorenzo's House events, um, taking a lead on on like our meetings or like leading us into a meditation or emceeing an event and sharing their insights. And I have to sit back and awe and be like, you're 9 years old.
Yes.
You're you have like the understanding and the wisdom that you know I could read a whole bunch of journals and articles about and still never really obtain, and here you are just so ferociously
Mhm.
and vibrantly doing that. And yeah, I just that I feel like I'm can in a way like fueling younger Frankie and giving him what he's so what he wished he could have received.
I could say the same thing verbatim, and my nickname was Frankie when I was a kid. So like it's that, and that resonates. It's a lot of what I'm doing is for the
Yeah,
younger Frankie in me also. And so like thank you for sharing. That was
yeah.
incredible. I have a couple more questions. How do you
Sure.
feel that Next Gen's different from other causes or movements that you've been
hmm
a part of?
I mean, I think what's interesting is that, like, again, next gen, we're inviting allies to our spaces. So, I think, like I said, allies pave those avenues that we might not be too familiar with, or the access to kind of get into, infiltrate. Um, could be that much easier if we have support. So I think of, conferences and different like summits and again these spaces for innovation and change that both in the healthcare world and the research world, um, these things are happening, but our voices who's are being impacted by these things that are being studied, are they being heard? And I think NextGen is doing a really good job at saying, hey, we're here, we exist, we have numbers. Um, Let us shine our light. Let us tell you our stories. Like come in and listen to this 10-year-old talk about, what it's been like navigating, having a father with younger onset dementia. Like invite, like come in, the water's fine, you know what I mean? And I think Lorenzo's house is really and Next Gen really is leading that. Like I don't see anything doing uh, or having the reach that we really could have with our work.
100%. And I think like these changing the world, right? It's a lot. It's big task. And I
hmm
think it's very easy to just feel like this problem is much bigger than you and it's too hard to solve. But I think Next Gen is getting right in the mud and saying like we're
hmm
gonna figure it out. And yeah, and I think it's just Next Gen's a bridge. It is a
Oh
bridge,
yeah.
those pathways that it's creating. I think it's facilitating exactly that into, where younger onset dementia is now coming into these spaces for the first time.
Yeah.
So you talked a lot about innovation and,
hmm
all the excitement. So what do you think about the future? What impact are you hoping that the movement's going to have? What are your dreams for this as NextGen continues to grow?
Hmm. Oh my gosh, that's such a good question. Um, well, you and I just came back from a next gen meeting yesterday, and
So good.
putting on like the slides that were at like almost 230 members, wild. And
So fast too.
and again, yeah, that we've literally spent just 9 hours, 9 working hours together, and the work that we've done so
Seriously.
far is
Seriously.
wild. So I really see like such a fire in us that like
Oh yeah.
I just want to shine so bright. I mean, with Leon, our like our round table that we're gonna be hosting in April is so cool. I mean, this is a huge conference. Like this is a
Yeah,
huge
it's a big
event
deal.
that's
Us
happening.
researchers
Um,
can say it's a big deal.
no, this is a big deal.
Yeah.
And so to just be in that space, so like again, like shining so effervescently is so cool. And I see more of that. Like I when we're, Lorenzo's house, we're always saying we shine brighter together. And I really like feel the magic when we're together. So I'm hoping for more just like in person, like authentic displays of um our mission, our message, to highlight the experiences of those impacted by younger onset dementia, and to have those experiences highlighted not only by those affected, but the allies who have that same sort of passion. I see us again infiltrating more spaces.
We're just getting
I
started.
just getting started, and
And
the work
nothing
that we've
yet.
already achieved.
Yep.
Again, I will have to highlight dementia justice. We're like at the top of the Google search
That is
results.
so awesome. I'm Googling that as soon as
It's so cool. And just like sharing our voices, like I really see, like social media being like a big way for us to connect with people. I see us like being a tool and a resource for those who didn't know that these resources existed. It's just like the future is so bright, and um, I could go on and on, but it's an exciting time to be a next gen member and very much a next gen ally.
100%. And that's a perfect segue to my final question, which is what would you say to someone who is watching our conversation right now and thinking about joining our next gen movement?
Oh, there's nothing like it. You being a part of this space is, again, being a part of like a promise to these families um, who have been constantly told that their experiences are these like taboo, mysterious sort of things that they're going to need to navigate on their own. It's very isolating. It's very dark for lack of better words. Um, you know, I think of it if you've ever been to a concert, right? And like say that you are like the artist is doing their like acoustic set, the lights go off, and then you have that one person who's gonna be like, "Oh, you know what? I'm gonna turn on my flashlight." And then the person across the arena does it, and then everyone starts shining and whatever, and this dark moody arena has just become like this bright space. That's what
That's a
I
good visual.
that is what I picture our work doing, like really shedding a light on this experience that we're meant to think is so like isolating and so dark and mysterious, and and believe that it's these one-off cases and whatever. We have the numbers,
Mhm.
we have the experiences, we have the voices, and are you going to be brave enough to give those voices the mic? Are you going to be brave enough to like let those voices in the room, let those young people um, share their light? I think that's what I see next gen being. It's a commitment to the next generation. It's a commitment to those who really stand for dementia justice, and it's a commitment to do better.
I have tears in my eyes. That was so beautiful. And I'm so grateful to know you. I'm so proud of you,
Oh,
seriously, just to see how far you've come. But also as a daughter, I'm so grateful to you and your allyship and your passion for this cause and for helping to give little Francescas like me for that were voiceless for so long. You are helping us give our voice back. So thank you so much for just having this beautiful conversation. I feel so blessed to know you and for letting the world know a little bit about who you are. Um,
oh, thank you
yeah.
so much. And Francesca, thank you for again fearlessly sharing your story with me and like bring me on this journey and introducing me to Lorenzo's house and just being like a beacon of light for me and so many of us. You are the best. You are the queen.
Oh my God, I love you so much. Thank you again for doing this. And yeah.